What's going on, y'all? I hope you're having a good day today. So we've been talking a lot about chapter 85 of the manga because we've got all kinds of information coming out about that. But on this video, I want to go back to talking about Dragon Ball Super Superhero. And because of that, I want to let you know that this video may and probably will, not may, will contain some spoilers for Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So if you have not seen the film and if you're trying to avoid spoilers, this video is not for you because this is going to be for the people who have either seen the movie or those of you who don't really care about spoilers and you've watched all the synopsises and you've read up on everything and you already know the plot. So it's just basically extra information I'm going to give you, interesting information in my opinion, that came from the Dragon Ball Super Superhero novel written by Masatoshi Kusakabe. That's the guy's name, and it's basically extra information on a lot of the events that happen in the movie, extra context if you will. So if you want to stay spoiler free, go ahead and click off, but if you don't care or if you want to hear it, let's go for it. It won't spoil everything about the movie, but it does spoil a couple of big things. So without any further ado, we're going to get into it right now. So I wrote these notes down right here in this notepad, and this is like basically so I can reference it as I talk to you guys and kind of elaborate on it more, these bullet points. Okay, so we have 7 bullet points from the Dragon Ball Superhero novel that were not in the movie or that were expounded upon the novel. So the first one here, Magenta was secretly funding Dr. Gero's research during the years before the Android saga when he was developing his technology. So that's a new one that was not really, they somewhat talked about Magenta at the beginning of the movie, but they didn't go into this much detail. Magenta started in secret. When the Red Ribbon Army was destroyed by Goku, it was already kind of started in secret at some point after that, but before the Android saga. And so Magenta, with the money he had made from Red Pharmaceuticals, presumably, he funded Dr. Gero or Gero's research into creating the original androids. He was a secret funder. So I always found that to be very interesting. Carmine's job title in the novel is Magenta's secretary and driver. Number 3, Gohan's final white-haired form. This is the Gohan Blanco form. Does not have a name other than Final Gohan, which was taken from the Toei script. They might change this soon. So I'm telling y'all what's going on here. The name of this form, as of the Japanese script for Dragon Ball Super Superhero, which has been revealed by inside sources, is Final Gohan. But that might not be the actual final name of the form because when the video games like Dokkan and Legends release that form, or maybe even some of the other games, but it'll probably be in Dokkan and Legends first, it might give it a new name. In fact, I would be willing to bet it probably will, because as many of you guys know, like Super Saiyan got Super Saiyan. That was the original name for Blue. Later on, it was retitled Blue. Sometimes they have these temporary names, and it could be that Toriyama has not come up with a name yet or didn't write it in the script. But the Toei script, whether or not he wrote it in there or it was a Kyo-san or whomever, I would assume it's him. They just call him Final Gohan. So that could change, like I said, depending on what the video games tell us or the future. Vomi. Now, this one I've talked about with y'all before, but I'm going to go into more detail. She's the human that Android 21 from Fighters was based off of and Dr. Gero's deceased wife. She died years before. Android 16 was modeled after Gero and her son. So the Android 16 being modeled after his son is something that was revealed by Toriyama in an interview going back to the full color releases of the manga many years ago. That's nothing new. I covered that here on this video after Team 4-Star did their parody, which was really clever, adding that scene into Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Now, Android 21 is, of course, famous for her being the main villain of Dragon Ball Fighters. Now, people have been asking me, does this make Android 21 canon or whatever? I don't like using that word, as you guys know, because it's very confused people. And the answer is not necessarily. I think they included her in here because for 2 reasons. One, it was an Easter egg for those of you who have played Fighters and, of course, the other games like Heroes and Xenoverse. It was cool to see her there in like a cameo form. And secondly, it's not actually Android 21. It is who 21 was based off of. So if 16 is based off of his son, why not base one off his wife? And that's kind of where her origin came from. I'm probably going to do a full Android 21 video about her sometime this year, so look forward to that. We're going into everything about that character that we know. Piccolo's yellow form, according to the Japanese, is known as, this is the full name, guys, Piccolo Capacity Liberation. That's very Japanese, homie. That is very Japanese. Otherwise known as Piccolo Potential Unlocked. Just like Gohan's form he got in the Majin Buu saga from the old Kai, where his potential has been unlocked, and it powered him up. And we're going to get to Orange Piccolo here in a minute, but I'm just going to call him Ultimate Piccolo or Piccolo Potential Unlocked. You can call him Mystic Piccolo if you want, but that's more fan name than anything. Number 6, Vegeta's lines about Jiren during their training on Beerus' planet. I didn't talk about this in my spoiler review, but I was not a fan of what Vegeta said about Jiren wasn't that strong. I get what they were saying about Jiren being more of a talented, methodical mental fighter, and I do appreciate that as a fan of the martial arts. And somebody who took a little bit of martial arts when he was younger, me. But honestly, like, I don't think, it's just kind of BS because we watched Super, and granted, Jiren was stronger in the anime, or at least he seemed to be stronger in the anime than in the manga version. This, to me, kind of really weakens him. But let me go through the actual dialogue from the manga that Vegeta says about Jiren when he's talking to Goku on Beerus' planet. He says, "Looks like you don't get it. Jiren and that incredible, overwhelming might of his true strength wasn't all that far off from our own. There was no waste in his use. Did you notice? Even in the midst of battle, his spirit was completely relaxed outside of the moment of attack. Launching attacks from zero, his movements couldn't be read and contained explosive power. He was able to save stamina too." Now I love this because this mirrors Goku discovering grade 4, aka full power Super Saiyan from the Cell Saga. Him and Gohan had it, but Jiren does it with much mightier strength and much more disciplined. So Vegeta is able to defeat Goku in their sparring match at the end of the movie because of the fact that he was a much more disciplined and more and worked on his mental game more than his physical game. And I love when Dragon Ball does shit like this, man. I'm a big fan of this kind of stuff. So the last little tidbit here. This was actually released. It was in the novel, but I think it's going to come out in more different sources. Piccolo's orange form, Orange Piccolo, where he's a big giant Hulk, monster badass, where he has an orange crest on his back and chest. If you notice, he has it on his back too. The Dragon Ball Superhero Novelization explains that the crest is formed from the image of a Namekian Ajisa tree, which is those like circular trees on planet Namek, and represents Namekian pride. So this is new lore that is introduced into the series, and you have to remember that Shenron or Shenlong is originally a Namekian creation. Dragon Balls, granted, they weren't originally from Namek. The Super Dragon Balls came first, according to Super, but the Namekians were the first race that really created Dragon Balls, like multitudes of them. So it is a Namekian form of magic, right? So, so the dragon giving Piccolo Orange Piccolo was like sort of the dragon going into his Namekian roots and giving Piccolo sort of the true secret power that Piccolo always had inside of him and that many Namekians did not know how to unlock. Remember how back in Dragon Ball, when they were building up the Piccolo and Kami being the nameless Namekian, the child of Katatsu in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, they talked about how powerful he was. So when we saw Piccolo and Kami merge in the Cell Saga, we got to see some of that power because Piccolo got real strong and was able to overpower Imperfect Cell and was able to go toe-to-toe with 17. So he got a huge power boost. But I believe, and this is just a theory as a Dragon Ball fan, that this Orange Piccolo might actually be the true Super Namekian. We've heard about like Lord Slug was called a Super Namekian and Piccolo and Child of Katatsu. I think the Orange Piccolo is kind of like, I think it's like the Namekian version of Super Saiyan, where you transform, you actually look different. He has the orange, like he's glowing orange. He has those things on his like forearms and his elbows, and he's bigger. So I think that is the Namekian version of Super Saiyan, in my opinion. Now, if you disagree, leave a comment. I respect all that. We're just kind of spitballing right here because we don't have all the answers yet. Hopefully Super will give us more answers in the future. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care of yourself. See you guys tomorrow. Talk to you soon.